Yo, what's good, everybody? So today's video is going to be about John Cena because, as you guys can see by the title, Mark Wahlberg plays the role of John Cena. And before I get into that, I just want to explain the fact that John Cena has been doing a lot of damage control. He posted a picture of this guy that kind of looks like him, and all the media ran with it. Even big meme pages like this one ran with it. And they do kind of look alike, but they're not the same person, you know what I mean? I went to that guy's page, and this is what he actually looks like. So he clearly looks nothing like John Cena. And they did that for damage control because nobody really talks about how Mark Wahlberg is John Cena. This one is very easy to see, you know what I mean? Like, I saw it right away. This caption says John Cena can act as the body double of Mark Wahlberg any day. And right here, they're basically wearing the same suit. And it's so obvious that John Cena has a mask on. He looks so fake right here. And this tweet says John Cena is the second coming of Mark Wahlberg. Why John Cena and Mark Wahlberg are the same person? So this guy made a tweet and he broke down all the coincidences between John Cena and Mark Wahlberg. This one says they both had rap careers. And I actually didn't know this, but Mark Wahlberg was a rapper back in the day. And John Cena was too. They're both jacked. They both have a bodysuit on, but I'll expose that at the very end of this video. So stay tuned for this whole video because I'm going to play a video that shows how they make the bodysuits at the end. And then they're both from Boston. So right here you can see John Cena at a Boston Celtics game. And then Mark Wahlberg with a Boston hat. And they're both actors in great movies. They both love the military. Now, a lot of people were saying that Jim Carrey plays the role of John Cena. And they're not wrong because Jim Carrey did play the role of John Cena back in the day. But I'll break that down in a bit. First, I just want to show you guys some more coincidences. So this one says neither can really rock the long hair. And this one is actually Jim Carrey. They both been to Hell in a Cell. And then this tweet kind of blew up on Twitter. And it says, you telling me John Cena without the buzz cut don't look like Mark Wahlberg? You know, they look just alike. And then here's another comparison. And then this tweet was funny. This guy said, happy birthday, John Cena. Hope to see you back in the WWE ring soon. And he put a picture of Mark Wahlberg. Alright, so now let's get to the Jim Carrey situation. So, Jim Carrey used to play Mark Wahlberg and John Cena way back in the day. You know, I used to watch WWE when I was a kid, and that was like 15 years ago, and that's when Jim Carrey was playing John Cena. You know, at first glance, I thought this was Jim Carrey. And then this meme is funny. It says, can't tell if this is John Cena or Jim Carrey. Is it just me or does John Cena look more like Jim Carrey? And also, if you notice, John Cena's initials are JC and Jim Carrey's initials are JC. And then this is John Cena's Instagram page, and in his bio it says, welcome to my Instagram. These images will be posted without explanation for your interpretation. Enjoy. And if you guys look at his page, he has over 2,000 pictures and none of them have a caption. So that was very weird to me, you know what I mean? And he has no pictures of himself. Like, what celebrity do you know has over 2,000 pictures and none of them are of himself? So this is obvious that this is not a real person. You know, John Cena is just a fictional character. And it's very obvious, you know what I mean? Like, he never posts anything on his story. He never posts himself at all. Like, it's crazy. And now let's get into Mark Wahlberg because Mark Wahlberg is not a real person either. Mark Wahlberg was played by Matt Damon. Jim Carrey was the first person to play the role of Mark Wahlberg, as I showed you guys in this picture over here. There's a lot of tweets of people comparing Jim Carrey and Mark Wahlberg. And after he stopped playing him, Matt Damon took that role, and then Matt Damon started playing the role of Mark. And if you notice, Matt and Mark both start with M, and they're both 4 letters. So here's some more comparisons. Right here they look just alike. They have the same eyes and everything. And yeah, I'm gonna try to get through this real quick because, you know, there's a lot more people involved with this that I need to break down. But you guys can feel free to do your own research. This tweet says, is Matt Damon an alias of Mark Wahlberg? They're twins, or is it the same person? And clearly by looking at these pictures, you can tell it's the same person. And then here's another person that thought they were the same person. You know, there's so many comparisons of them. It's very easy to see. This one says Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg look so alike that they came to the agreement that they'd just go with it when the fans got them confused. So apparently a lot of fans mistake Mark Wahlberg for Matt Damon, and they mistake Matt Damon for Mark Wahlberg. And it's crazy because there's an interview where Mark Wahlberg talks about this.
People call me, you know, they always say they love me in the Bourne Identity. When I'm saying, and I just say thank you. You know?
No, they don't. Are you serious?
Oh, yeah, and
Matt,
Matt always gets it all the time too. You know, he says
really?
They always say, you know, talk about I loved you in Ted or one of these other movies that I've done, and you know, we just kind of laugh it off. And I never correct anybody.
You know, Matt Damon is Mark Wahlberg, right? So that must mean that Matt Damon plays John Cena, because if Mark Wahlberg is John Cena, but Mark Wahlberg doesn't exist, then that means whoever plays Mark Wahlberg is John Cena too. And this is a perfect tweet. It says, "When I was a kid, I used to always confuse John Cena, Mark Wahlberg, and Matt Damon with one another. I want to see a film with all three of them together. Well, that'll never happen because they're all the same person." So here's some comparisons of Matt Damon and John Cena. You know, a lot of people could tell that they're the same person, you know, because Matt Damon played Mark and Mark is John Cena. So it might get a little bit confusing, but I'll try to break it down the best way I can. And basically what I'm saying is that Matt Damon is the base character and he plays Mark Wahlberg and John Cena. And right here you can clearly see that they have the same exact eyes. And the funny thing about this is, remember that John Cena has blue eyes, right? Because you're going to see other pictures of John Cena with black eyes. So it's so obvious that he's not a real person. But yeah, they have the same blue eyes. And here's some more comparisons. And once John Cena started doing these type of action movies, that's when I knew it was Matt Damon, because Matt Damon does a lot of action movies. Right here they look just alike. It's crazy. And Matt Damon is from Massachusetts, and like I said earlier, John Cena is from Massachusetts, and Mark Wahlberg is also from Massachusetts. And there's even a video from 13 years ago comparing John Cena and Matt Damon. Alright, so now I'm going to break down the new person that plays Mark Wahlberg, because Matt Damon doesn't really play Mark Wahlberg anymore. Maybe occasionally he'll fill in. The Mark Wahlberg that you see today is being played by Ike Barinholtz. And this guy's another actor. He's not as big as Mark Wahlberg, but he's like a lower class actor. And right here it says Ike Barinholtz is a poor man's Mark Wahlberg. So that's what they do, you know, they get these lower class actors to play the top actors, because all the top actors are not real people. You know, they're just being played by multiple people. And Ike and Matt are the main people that play Mark Wahlberg. And then here's another person that thought Ike and Mark were the same person. And this is a really good comparison right here. I could not tell them apart. You're trying to tell me that Ike Barinholtz and Mark Wahlberg aren't the same person? Ike Barinholtz looks like a Walmart brand Mark Wahlberg. And then here's another tweet of people comparing them. They look just alike. Like, this one is probably the easiest one to see. I thought Ike Barinholtz was Mark Wahlberg. And then this is coming from a celebrity on Twitter. And it says, "My biggest weakness is not being able to tell the difference between Mark Wahlberg and Ike Barinholtz." Ike Barinholtz looks like a mashup of John Cena and Mark Wahlberg. So here's the thing about John Cena. Matt Damon plays John Cena sometimes, and Ike Barinholtz plays John Cena sometimes. So the same way that Ike and Matt share the role of Mark Wahlberg, they also both share the role of John Cena. And now let's get to all the damage control, because of course they have to do damage control with this. And since there's so many people involved, it's very easy to get them in the same room. So like I said, Mark and John Cena are not real people. So right here you have Ike Barinholtz playing the role of Mark Wahlberg. And then you have Jim Carrey or Matt Damon playing the role of John Cena. I assume this is Jim Carrey, but I can't really tell, because John Cena is so messed up, it's crazy. And then here's some more damage control. So of course they put Jim Carrey and John Cena in the same room, but this is Matt Damon right here. So whenever they're in the same room, they get somebody else to play that role. And Jim Carrey doesn't play the role of John Cena or Mark Wahlberg anymore. So that explains why it's very easy to get them in the same room. And then Mark Wahlberg posted this and he said, "Throwback Thursday, nothing but laughs with Jim Carrey in 2004. So here's another damage control post because Jim Carrey used to play the role of Mark Wahlberg, but right here, this is Matt Damon. So this is when Matt Damon started playing the role of Mark. And then here's some more damage control. They put Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg in the same place. And on this day, this was Ike Barinholtz. And this is Matt Damon. You know, Ike was playing the role of Mark Wahlberg this day. So this is what they do. You know, this is why they have multiple people that play them. That way you think they're real people when they're in the same room. And then here's some more damage control. They put Ike Barinholtz and John Cena in the same movie. And Ike does play the role of John Cena sometimes. But right here, this is either Jim Carrey or Matt Damon. And one thing I want to point out is that they didn't do damage control with all of them. Just those 4 that I showed you. And one thing I noticed is that we never seen Ike Barinholtz with Mark Wahlberg. And we never seen Matt Damon with John Cena. And they might do this in the future. You know, if you see them do this in the future, then you'll know why. Because I mentioned it in this video. But one thing I want to see to prove me wrong is get Matt Damon, John Cena, Mark Wahlberg, and Ike Barinholtz all in the same room. That would be the only way to prove me wrong. And even then, they could Photoshop and video edit. So this is how they're getting away with it. You know, a lot of people ask me, how are they getting away with all this stuff? And this is exactly how. You know, they do all of this damage control, and that's why they're able to get away with it. They put some of them in the same room, and that's all they have to do, and they could get away with it. So it's very disgusting what they're doing, and it's time that we wake up and we realize what's going on, because if everybody realized that celebrities are fake and that they're all playing each other, then nobody would care about the TV. You know, that's the main point of my videos, for you to stop caring about TV and the media and the news, you know, because they're all fake. You know, at the end of the day, they're all pushing agendas on you. And another coincidence that I noticed is Mark, Matt, and John are all 4 letters. And here's another coincidence. So when I typed in Ike Barinholtz's age, it says he's 44 years old, right? And look who pops up at the bottom. John Cena, and he's also 44 years old. So John Cena and Ike are the same age. And then I typed in Matt Damon's age, and it says he's 50, right? And look who pops up at the bottom. Mark Wahlberg, and he's also 50. Do you guys think that's a coincidence? So Mark and Matt are the same age, and then John Cena and Ike are the same age. And right here you have John Cena throwing up some symbolism. And now I'm going to show you guys a video of Ike, and he's doing different impressions, right? So this is for all the people who keep asking me, how do they change their voice? You have to remember that these people are high-class actors. They're very good. You know, if you watch some of their movies, they change their voice extremely well throughout the whole movie. So all they have to do is practice voice impressions, and they can easily play a new role. So stop asking me how are they changing their voice. Just look up voice impressions and you'll see how they do it. So here's a video of Ike doing 3 different impressions.
These 2 guys.
Right, yeah.
And they, you know, they like love each other. They talk about each other. They're very like, you know, one thing I'll say about Kevin Hart, this man is a worker, he's a grinder, and he's an inspiration to me, and I love him, and I'm motivated by him. And then Kevin's like, he's global. This man is global. I love it. It's like I want someone to talk that way about me.
You got them pretty good. You do a lot of impressions.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Maybe most famously President Obama, or was that?
Yes.
Is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, God, we haven't heard him in so long. I just would love to hear his take on things now.
I'm sure he's positive about everything.
Michelle, I just followed Stormy Daniels on Twitter. Are you reading this? This is insane. He must just wake up every day and be like, you got to be kidding me.
What is?
I wore a tan suit one time. Unbelievable.
What?
Unbelievable. Thank you.
Very nice. It's an excellent Obama.
Thank you.
What is the most obscure impersonation you do besides every?
So I'm pretty sure this was a lot of information for you guys to take in. So to finish off the video, let me break it down in the simplest way possible. So Jim Carrey was the very first person to play the role of Mark Wahlberg and John Cena. And then he eventually gave up that role and he passed it on to Matt Damon. And Matt Damon started playing the role of Mark Wahlberg and John Cena. And once Matt Damon started playing the role of Mark, that's when we saw that picture of Mark Wahlberg with Jim Carrey. So now that Matt Damon is playing both of their roles, you know, Matt Damon has other roles to play too, so he's a very busy man. And I'm going to be exposing all his other roles too because he plays so many different people. So this is why they pass down the roles, because they get new roles that they have to play and they don't have time to play them anymore. So Matt Damon doesn't have time to play John Cena and Mark anymore, so he passed it down to Ike. And now Ike Barinholtz is playing the role of Mark Wahlberg and John Cena. So now Ike is the main person playing Mark Wahlberg and John Cena. And since they put them in the same room together, you know, occasionally Matt Damon will fill in when they're in the same place together. Matt Damon and Ike are playing the role of Mark Wahlberg and John Cena. They basically tag team both of these roles, you know what I mean? And that's what they're doing at the moment. So I hope you guys understand what I mean in this video. It's a lot to break down, and I hope I didn't confuse anybody, but it took me days of research to get all of this together. So last thing I want to show you guys before I end the video is all of these weird pictures of John Cena. You know, for all the people that don't believe that these people are wearing bodysuits, these final pictures and videos that I'm going to show you guys is 100% proof that they're using bodysuits and fake legs and arms. Nobody can tell me that this is a real person, because look at how fake his arms look right here and his legs, especially his legs. They look so fake. And since he has fake legs, you know, it's harder for him to walk normally. So here's a video of him walking, and you can clearly see that these are not his real legs. Look at how weird he's walking. And here's some more proof that he has a bodysuit on. You know, these are not real veins. This looks so fake. His entire body is fake. And especially this picture, I posted this on my community tab, and everybody noticed that this was a bodysuit. You know, anybody who has seen a real bodybuilder knows that this is fake. You know, this is clearly not a real vein. Like, what the hell is this? They didn't try at all with this vein right here. It looks so fake. And then somebody sent me a video of John Cena being filmed in public, right? And he's talking to the guy that's filming him, and he moves his arm to his chest, and look at how weird his arm looks. This is clearly a fake hand. Nobody can tell me that this is a real hand. Look at how fake that looks. You know, the truth is in plain sight at this point. And if you guys don't want to believe it, I get it. You know, a lot of people are scared to believe that their whole reality has been a lie this entire time. And like I always say, it's easier to deceive somebody than to convince them that they have been deceived. So here's a video of a guy seeing John Cena on the street, and pay attention to his arm and his hand because it looks so fake.
If you need anything, just let me know. I'm good guy. Yeah.
Just ask.
Okay.
You're gonna use this without my permission. You're gonna use all of this without my permission.
No, but
you didn't ask to shoot. You're still filming.
Oh,
I appreciate it. Be respectful.
All right, but no, Modine London, yeah, safe.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to drop a like, share, subscribe. And now I'm just going to show you guys a video of how they make the bodysuits. And keep in mind that this is just what they show us. You know, they're not showing us the actual way that they do it with celebrities. So if they're showing us this information, imagine how they're actually doing it with celebrities like John Cena. You know, they have way better technology than this video, but this video is basically just to give you an idea of how they do it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'm out.
Hollywood uses a variety of different techniques to change an actor's appearance, from makeup and wigs to fat suits and prosthetics. They've invented and perfected hundreds of different techniques. But it's when the actor needs a different body type, which can't be disguised or hidden under clothing, that we see the real magic of Hollywood. Two types of silicone rubbers are used. The green silicone contains an oil that prevents the actor's body hair from adhering to it. The oilless blue silicone is then applied on top, and then both are wrapped in a temporary plaster jacket to cure. Once dry, the plaster cast is then carefully removed, and the mold is used to create a fiberglass mold that gets covered in clay, ready for the next step. Here, artists work with human anatomy models and concept artwork of the director's ideas and begin sculpting the clay, forming muscles and veins, the belly button and nipples. In this stage, attention to detail is incredibly important, as any slight error made now will be magnified later. The veins, for example, had to be incredibly subtle because otherwise they would stand out too much once painted. Once they are happy with all the detail, they cover it in a thicker silicone to make a mold. This mold is then combined with the life cast mold, and a foam latex is injected in between. The exterior layer of foam latex is then covered in a skin-colored layer of silicone. The painter begins by finding the actor's skin tone and then matching it. Although everyone has their own skin tone, this tone varies depending on the area of the body, how much sun it gets, or how the light reflects off it. Everybody's skin has red tones because of the blood, blues from the veins, but also greens, browns, and pinks. If the bodysuit is for a manscaped bodybuilder, it would be finished after paint, but if it's for a fat, hairy guy, there's even more detail to be added. For example, a belly isn't just a bulge, it has weight to it. So they added bags of beads to the inside of the suit in order to mimic its weight, and so the belly had some bounce. Hairs had to be sewn onto the suit individually, respecting growth patterns and also density. Knowing, understanding, and being able to apply all these subtle differences add to making the suit look ultra realistic. Okay, I know we said without VFX, but sometimes it is necessary. You see, clever usage of prosthetic beards, necklaces, and gloves are a great way to hide the seams of the suit around the neckline and the hands, but sometimes the suit's zipper, for example, just can't be hidden, and that is when the usage of VFX is necessary. Please give us a like if you enjoyed this video. Don't forget the links to the music used in this video are in the video description, and be sure to let us know in the comment section which movie VFX you'd like to see.